Bonjour, Alena, and welcome to the very first episode of Bonjour, Alena. I'm Ami, your host, and I'm so excited to have you here as we kick off this new journey together. So, who am I and why am I doing this podcast? I want to keep this short, so let me give you the quick version. I'm a real estate agent, interior designer, and your go-to expert for all things Alena. But here's the twist. I'm also an immigrant from Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, and Mali. I moved to the US when I was 19 years old with big dreams, but even bigger challenges. Fast forward today, I've built my life here in this vibrant city that I love so much, and I help people from all over the world do the same. This podcast is about making Atlanta feel like home, whether you've just moved here or you're thinking about it. We will talk neighborhoods, culture, food, traffic. Yes, traffic. And real estate, and even dating. And don't worry, this isn't just for immigrants or expats. If you've moved here from across the country or just across the street, this podcast is for you. Let's start with a question I get all the time. Why Atlanta? Well, let me tell you why Atlanta is the place to be. First of all, it's the culture. Atlanta is rich in history, music, art, and food. It's the Black culture capital of the US. This city has given the world so many icons like Martin Luther King, Outkast, Kanye West, Future, and the Migos, and so many more. But it's not just about the culture. Atlanta is a hub for opportunities. We've got booming industries like tech, film, real estate, and healthcare. And the city is home to some of the world's largest brands like Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines, and Chick-fil-A. Let's not forget affordability. Compared to cities like New York, Chicago, or San Francisco, you can actually own a home here without selling a kidney. I know, that's crazy. That's one of the big reasons why people are moving here from all over the world. I personally fell in love with Atlanta at first sight. The first time I came here, I was still in college and I was flying back from New York to Minneapolis. My flight had a long layover, so a friend of mine asked me to come out so he could show me around. And as soon as I stepped out of the airport, I just had this magical feeling that this was it for me. This was a place to be. And I promised myself to do everything in my power to move back here. So fast forward 3 years after that, in 2015, I moved to my dream city and I've been loving it ever since. But to be honest, moving to Atlanta wasn't smooth sailing, of course. For me, at least, I came here as a 25 years old college graduate with no job, no money, and no plan, and navigating a new culture, learning how to drive because, yeah, you have to drive here, and figuring out where I fit. And I remember spending countless hours on Google trying to figure out the different neighborhoods, where to live, and what did ITP or OTP meant, and why in the world every street had pastry in it, and why do people drive so crazy. I remember being so scared. I thought I would never be used to this. But what I love most about Atlanta is that it's a melting pot, and I've met people from all the corners of the globe with stories like mine, starting fresh and building something amazing. That's why I'm so passionate about helping people move here and feel at home. So what can you expect from Bonjour Atlanta? Each week, we're going to dive into topics that matter to you. We'll explore neighborhoods and help you figure out where you will thrive. We'll talk about the realities of moving, how to meet people, build community, and adjust to life here. And of course, we'll talk real estate, how to buy, sell, and invest in Atlanta so you can build generational wealth. Oh, and we'll keep it fun, of course. Expect insider tips, personal stories, and some laughs along the way. From navigating Atlanta's infamous traffic to finding the best places to eat, we'll cover it all. I'll also bring on guests, locals, expats, entrepreneurs who will share their stories and their unique perspectives. And when it's just me, I will keep it real and relatable because that's what this podcast is all about. Before we wrap up today's episode, I have a little favor to ask you. If If you enjoyed this intro, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future episode. And while you're at it, follow me on social media. You will find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Ami, the International Agent. And while you are at it, I'll be sharing clips from the show, behind the scene moments, and more tips for living your best life in Atlanta. Also, I want to hear from you. What questions do you have about Atlanta? What topics do you want me to cover? Send me a DM, leave me a comment, or email me at ami@c21connectrealty.com. This podcast is a two-way conversation, and I would love to connect with you. Next week, we are diving into Neighborhood 101, finding your vibe in Atlanta. Whether you're looking for luxury, artsy vibes, or family-friendly community, I'll help you find your perfect match. Thank you so much for tuning into this first episode of Bonjour Atlanta. I can't wait to go on this journey with you. Until next time, au revoir, à bientôt.